Hello, my name is Callista and welcome back to Immortality. In the last episode, the last episode was a little bit glitchy. We ran into some stuttering issues. Now, apparently the stuttering is a known problem. It seems that because this game features clips within clips, the game will sometimes load the hidden clip first instead of the actual main clip, and I believe that's what's causing the stuttering. Now, apparently the only way to fix this is by lowering the graphics settings, so if things look slightly fuzzier from here on out, my apologies, but I'd rather deal with slightly fuzzier video than constant stuttering. Now, as for what actually happened in the episode, that last hidden clip where the strange woman spoke about the Great War. Now, this is in 1968. Marissa is about 20, so she would have been a little girl at the time of the Second World War, I think. I'm not so good with my dates, but I believe the Second World War ended in the 1950s? 1940s? Like I said, I'm not good with dates. I'm not good with history. However, I think Marissa would have been very, very young at the time of the Second World War. She would not have been born during the Great War. The Great War was the 1920s? Maybe? Again, I don't know dates. However, 100% she would not have been alive for the Great War. Again, who is this person? They have knowledge of the Great War. They seemingly have knowledge of smartphones. What is going on there? What is going on? Now, the first thing I want to do, now that I've lowered the settings, I want to see... I want to see, because there's a hidden clip here, but again, I'm struggling to get it because of the stuttering, so come on. You know what, just play. Okay, come on. Oh, that is... Oh!
I can sleep with my eyes open, but if
One second. I want to go from the beginning, please.
I can sleep with my eyes open, but if I have them closed, you can't tell if I'm awake or not. Most animals lack eyelids and sleep with their eyes open. Some prey animals sleep with half their brains still awake. Have you seen Baltus's painting, The Sleeping Girl? I think it's his best painting. I like it because you can tell the girl's awake behind her eyes. I posed for him in Rome, but was in no danger of becoming a muse. I wonder if the girls in his paintings will outlive him. His maternal pubescence. Art is the best defense. Good people will always defend the art, and if you live the art, they end up defending you.
Okay, I'm not big on artists. I'm not big on artists or art, so I don't know who Balthus is. You know what, I'ma just do a quick Google search for who that person is. However, so this... I caught that. I posed for him in Rome. Why do I get the feeling that this person probably lived a very long time ago? Oh, actually, no. Born 1908, died 2001. Assuming it's the same person. Yeah, Sleeping Girl was painted in 1943. Okay. I was gonna say, if this was an artist from, like, the 1800s, I was about to say, madam. Madam what? I posed for him in Rome, and that's... I was in no... I can't remember the exact wording she used, but I was in no danger of becoming a muse. To be honest, muses are very... I've been calling these people the strangers. Muses would probably have been a better word for it, considering we're talking about the theatre and, you know, art and this, that, and the other. Then again, are they muses? To inspire, like, I don't know if I'd call this person inspiring. They seem creepy as hell. Then again, you can find inspiration in the most unlikely of places. You can find inspiration in horror and sadness. I think the big question I have is this person representative of Marissa? In which case, you know, Marissa posed for Balthus in Rome, which that would line up. Marissa and Balthus lived at the you know, during the same time frame, so that is possible. I can't tell if she's representative of Marissa or if she is her own entity. The fact that she's talking about the Great Wall like she was there, the fact that she's talking about smartphones. Marissa was last seen in 2001, I believe. Also, now I can mark that. There we go. When is... Okay, no, this is 1999. Okay, so she was last seen in 99. Smartphones didn't exist then. You had the Nokia brick. So if she is representative of Marissa, how does she know about smartphones? This story could go in two different ways. Either this woman and the dude, either they are their own entities, in which case what the fuck is going on, or they're representative of Marissa, maybe her struggles, maybe the things she was dealing with. I'm just not... Given the knowledge that she seems to possess, If this was a representation, if this was a simple representation, and it was all... oh God, How would she have knowledge of the future? That's my one thing. Knowledge of the past, you can learn stuff from history books. You can, here's the thing, Marissa is a creative person. Maybe she learned about the Great War from a grandparent, and it was so vivid that she felt like she lived it. You could make that argument. Some people are just, they're very, very sensitive. And I could see that argument, but how would she know about smartphones in the future and, you know, digital satellite imaging? And My gut says there's just too much knowledge there. Also, I want to keep on with Robert today. There's the knowledge she expresses. I'm like, it sets my teeth on edge. It sets my teeth on edge. I don't know what she is. Excuse me. I would like, yes, let me see Robert, more of Robert, if you please. Thank you. Hello? Hello? When is... This is Minsky. Also, I thought that was, how do we... There was... I can't remember. It was, there was a way of seeing... Okay, so that's... I thought it was the actor. No, that's Kiss. That is two people sharing a kiss. I want more of Robert, though. I want more of Ambrosio. In which... There's a good shot of Robert's face.
Like a gambler who plays again and again to win.
Hello? Oh no, wait, this is the end, excuse me!
Scene 28, rehearsal.
If you get up over there, that's our bed. Both on your sides. So we progress things here. They still face each other, but Ambrosio's looking over her shoulder. No eye contact. He's starting to grow tired of her. We're halfway to total dissociation. All right, Sophia, you read Ambrosio's voiceover so we get a sense of timing. Marissa, put your leg over Robert. Okay? And action.
Like a gambler who plays again and again to win back his losses. The sinner soon finds themselves debauching themselves further to feel as they once did. Their sins compound, their debts worse.
Okay, this isn't really working. We need to get a look at your tits, my dear. And it's hard to get in on Ambrosio's face.
If Robert is on his knees, Marissa can straddle him. Can I show you?
Go on.
Okay, I have to pause there. So, a couple of interesting things. Again, at the beginning, Robert, he held his hand over Marissa's hip, and he looked at her, and it wasn't until she nodded that he put his hand down. Again, seeking consent. Good guy Robert, for right now, before he damn near choked a woman to death. The look that Robert and Marissa shared when Arthur said, "We need to get a look at your tits, my dear," they both gave each other a look of like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you just said that. I can't," like, there was a look of like, this pig, how dare he? And again, of note, Sophia was walking like, "Oh, I could show you," like, and then it, like, she didn't wait until Arthur said, "Oh yeah, go on." She was like, "I'm in there."
If she arches like this, you get your tits. Robert, hold my wrist. You can move me around like this.
You see, this is why I didn't give you the Matilda role. You're so filthy, Sophia.
You cast me as a virgin, Arthur.
I'm turning you into a virgin. Marissa into a whore.
Oh, Sir, you're not turning anyone into anything. That is one of the risks you run with directors. Some of them are perfectly lovely, perfectly understanding, but then you get the ones that just want to control everything. Every aspect about their actors, they want to control. And again, this man is very clearly of the Hitchcock variety when it comes to directors. Actors are cattle. Actors have no skill sets whatsoever. It is all the director drawing that talent out of them. Actors themselves have no talent. You know, we can't possibly have Sophia and Marissa being good actors. Sophia is capable of acting virginal. Marissa is capable of acting thirsty as fuck. Like, no, that is not possible. Arthur needs to turn them. And I do think he is getting some pleasure out of it, especially with Marissa. I don't think it's... Like I said, we haven't seen any signs of Arthur. He speaks very inappropriately, but we haven't seen any signs that he's tried to like, "Oh, you want the role? Come to my casting couch. Come to my casting couch. I'm just loosening my belt." No reason why. Like, we haven't seen that he's done anything like that. We haven't seen that he's been touching the actresses, doing anything physically inappropriate. His inappropriate behavior has been, it's been consigned to verbal inappropriateness. However, I do think he is getting some pleasure from it's the idea of, oh, this girl, she is so pure and virginal, and I am turning her into a sexual whore. Yes, like, I think he's getting some pleasure out of that. I think he's getting some satisfaction. And as we see later on in the film, Marissa is not a pure and innocent young waif. She is very confident in her body and her sexuality, and that puts Arthur off. He wanted her to be innocent, and he wanted her to be sexual on his say-so. She is uncomfortable, but she is doing this because I say so, and I'm teaching her how to enjoy it. Oh wait, I'm not teaching her anything. She's actually a sexual person within her own right. Oh, and he's intimidated by that, I think. He knows how to handle Sofia in his mind. I hate that. I hate that phrase. Oh, he knows how to handle her. She doesn't need to be handled. However, Sofia appears to be sexual. And she is sexual. In a way, Marissa is like a wolf in sheep's clothing. I think that's the best way to put it. Sofia looks like a wolf and acts like a wolf. Therefore, Arthur has a set of expectations from her and she meets them. Marissa looks like a little lost lamb. And so he expects her to behave in that way, and she doesn't. And I think that frightens him in some regard. I think it puts him off. Again, interesting. Very interesting. You know, it's been a while since we looked at Sofia. I kind of want to flick between the two of them because again, they've clearly got something going on. They've clearly got something going on, the way they're looking at each other right now. So I want to see more of their story. Oh, we've already seen this. Again, come on over to Sofia. We haven't seen this one.
29 Charlie, take 2.
And action.
And what pleasures there are in purity. A sinner may look back and remember what it felt like to be clean, lightness of soul, to feel God's eye fall upon us, and to meet that gaze with our own eyes open and pride in our hearts. This is the true pleasure of the flesh.
And eye contact. Excellent. Cut.
Okay, so where... I want to see where this falls. Okay, so this is 4 days after this scene. So this was a scene where Sofia had a full-on breakdown. Or that's a bit melodramatic. She cried. The script, the wording of it about purity and this, that, and the other, it got to her and she started to tear up. And here we see, okay, so she's not tearing up anymore. She has pulled herself together, as Arthur put it. However, you can see at the end there, the way she looked around, she's still very uncomfortable. She is still very uncomfortable in this setting. However, she's managing to hold that back a little bit better. I want to know what got to her. As I mentioned before, it was when Ambrosio started talking about the Blessed Mother, and again, it was all about purity. It was all about purity. So I'm like, what's... I'm like, I want to know more. I want to know more about you.
Pray for your stomachs.
Yeah, we've seen this one, I believe. You know what? Let's just check. Oh, hello. We have not seen this one.
Agnes will not be returning today. She was somewhat surprised to learn that in adapting the book, which she so diligently read, we chose to remove a great deal of scenes concerning her character. The part is smaller than she anticipated, a problem I'm sure some of the ladies are more than familiar with. Anyway, when it comes to scene 55, I will read her line. If I read the part better than Jane, I shall cast myself as Agnes. Let us continue.
Interior. Cathedral of the Capuchins. Finished. Ambrosio steps out of the confessional. Walks towards the door, out of the chapel.
Excuse me, Father.
Ambrosio stops. Turns to see Antonia, who lifts her veil.
I have seen you in my audience.
Antonia, embarrassed and ought to be recognized.
I find your words instructive and inspiring.
Before you had a woman with you. Perhaps your mother? Of late you're by yourself.
Yes. That is why I would speak with you.
She tears out.
My mother is sick. The illness has progressed rapidly, and the physicians are at a loss. I have no recourse left but to beg the mercy of heaven. Father, all of Madrid is in awe of your piety and virtue. I ask you to petition for my mother in your prayers. Perhaps you may prevail on the Almighty to spare my dearest and only friend.
She cries. Ambrosio takes her in his arms.
My child, I promise. I will pray on her behalf. I will pray most passionately.
A bit. Antonio, crying on his shoulder, arouses him. She steps back, wipes her eyes.
I will devote myself to Saint Francis. Every night I will light a candle in his name.
Takes a breath.
I have one more favor to ask. My mother needs a confessor, but we're yet strangers to Madrid. I know that you never leave the abbey, but if you could name a proper person to attend her deathbed with piety and wisdom, you would have my gratitude.
Of course. Leave me your address and I'll send a confessor this very evening.
Thank you.
She passes a card with her address.
You are a great and holy man. I return to my mother with my heart full.
She veils, bows, and leaves. Ambrosio watches her go, examines the card, smells it.
Pervert.
I think it's very romantic, like Ed Gein. Oh, looks like lunch is ready. Shall we restore ourselves before we unleash Ambrosio here on poor Antonio? Pray for your stomachs. Signor Di Giorgio has prepared for us an 18th century Italian feast.
Better than a 20th century American feast.
Oh, again, Marissa is so still. She's so still. It's weird. I think she's learning. I think she's learning in the most robotic way. Because the intensity, during that scene, the intensity of her eyes on Sofia. Also, a couple of other things to note. When Robert and Sofia were holding hands, and, you know, they let their hands go, Robert maintained his hold. He was like, no, please. It was Sofia who had to pull away. He didn't pull away. Arthur, at the beginning there, saying that Agnes won't be back. Or I think the actress's name is Jane. The character is Agnes. If I remember correctly, Agnes is... So Ambrosio basically has like an A plot and a B plot. It's like two different stories within the same book. And I believe that Agnes is... I think she's a nun, and she's only recently been made a nun. I think she's fleeing from like her mother or her aunt, some female relative, and she arrives at the nunnery, and she realizes that she is pregnant. And the nuns, again, if this is the character I'm thinking of, I might be thinking of a different character, but I believe so with Agnes. So she arrives at the nunnery, she is pregnant, and Ambrosio finds out, and he tells the Mother Superior, and the Mother Superior is like, oh, this whore, she was fucking about while she was a nun, how dare. And I think that, oh god, what is it? I feel so badly for this character. It'll turn out Agnes is a completely different character than the one I'm thinking of. I think they lock her up underneath the nunnery, monastery, whatever you want to call it. And I think she does give birth to the baby, but obviously she's been down there for months. She's like half starved. And so the baby is obviously dead. And I think at the end, it's the discovery of this character that causes the Inquisition to arrive, that causes them to turn their gaze on Ambrosio, and he signs his soul over to the devil. It's that her lover, who the female relative that she was running away from, she wanted to marry Agnes's lover. Agnes's lover is like, yeah, nah, I want to marry Agnes. So he follows her to the nunnery and he manages to break in to the underbit and he finds her and he takes her out and he's like, Madrid, this is what they did to a pregnant woman. What the fuck? And Madrid's like, oh shit. And so they all go and storm the nunnery / monastery. And then they discover like, oh, Ambrosio's been up to some shit. Ambrosio's been up to some shit. We should get him too. So I guess they've taken away that B plot to focus on Ambrosio and the main plot. It's funny because he was saying like, oh, I'm sure you ladies will understand. Yeah, but you've just done that too. You're talking about, oh, you ladies, you have to worry about your parts being smaller than they should. You've just done that. You just did that to Jane / Agnes. Also, why are you grabbing her chin? Also, the whole smelling of the card. And he was like, oh, I think it's romantic. No. Also, isn't Ed Gein a serial killer? I mean, to be fair, if he's making that joke like, oh, it's romantic in a serial killer type of way, like, that's fair. But no, like, don't smell shit. If you hold a lady's hand and then smell your hand, don't do that. That's, no. It's creepy. Again, Sofia. Hello, is this... Okay, this is new. This is new.
Oh.
39 apple, take 2.
Going again. From my mother says, and action.
What are these?
Oh, those are the pages which Mother says I am too young to read.
The scripture is God's word. It offers no risk to a young mind. The Song of Songs. This is a hymn that glories in man's love of God. Here, let us read together. I have come into my garden, my sister, my bride. I have gathered my myrrh with my spice. I have eaten my honeycomb and my honey. I have drunk my wine and my milk. Here, you read.
Awake, north wind, and come, south wind. Blow on my garden, that its fragrance may spread everywhere. Let my beloved come into his garden and taste its choice fruits. Eat, friends, and drink. Drink your fill of love.
I'm sorry, are you burned?
A little. It is fine.
It will heal. I should go. You may rest.
I feel a little feverish myself. I have not slept or eaten well from worrying about my mother.
Yes. Rest yourself. Good night.
And cut.
Can we go again? I had Marisa in my eyeline.
Oh, God. I'm sorry.
So, I don't know if they've mentioned this or not. The ages with these characters. Antonia is supposed to be... I don't think she's even 15 years old. At her oldest, she is like 15. I think she might be younger. And Ambrosio is at least in his mid-20s. That... Going up to a young teen and being, let's read this sexy bit of scripture. I'm like, no, sir. Don't do that. That bit at the end there was interesting. Can we go again? I had Marisa in my eyeline because where does this come from? Where does this? Okay, so this is. Okay, so they've been doing this for about 3 months. Yeah, I think it's about here that I'm like, ooh, they got together. Sofia and Robert, I mean, they got together. They're in a relationship at this point. They're sharing those furtive little glances. I think potentially, because we see instances of Sofia being a little bit bitchy to Marisa. And I'm trying to figure out if this bit at the end here is Sofia being bitchy. I think potentially what's going on, I think Sofia has a thing for Robert, Robert has a thing for Sofia, but Sofia is worried that like, oh, Marissa and Robert have all these sex scenes. She's my rival for this man's affections, so I'm gonna be a bit bitchy. And by this point, it's been 3 months. They've been in a relationship for 3 months here. I think by the time we reach here, where she's kind of like, oh, I'm sick of this bullshit. I'm sick of all this bullshit. I'm swearing at the director. I think there could be trouble in paradise here, but right here, so 3 days prior, I didn't get anything between the two of them. They seemed happy together. There was no like, ooh, they're sharing worried glances. They looked happy. You know what, I'm gonna go back to the beginning again, just to make sure.
39 Apple, take 2.
Going again. From My Mother Says, and action.
He looked at her. He looked at her. She didn't look at him, though. Potentially, I think what happens, maybe at this stage their relationship is still good. There might be some trouble in paradise, but maybe Robert doesn't know that. He's just kind of blissfully unaware that potentially something's going on with Sofia. I think at the beginning, Sofia was being bitchy towards Marissa because she was like, oh, you're my rival. And then once they settled into that relationship, because the smile at the end there, oh, she was in my eye line, oh God, sorry. And in my opinion, Sofia gave a very genuine smile, like, hey, it's all good. So I think potentially by this point, Sofia's like, right, I don't view you as a rival anymore. You're all right. But again, there's clearly something going on with her. She's clearly experiencing some kind of discomfort that's making her swear at the director and cry on set. I just want to know what. There goes my timer. I just want to know what. Oh dear. And I am going to bring this episode to a close right here. In the next one, can we find out what's going on with Sofia? I hope so. Probably not, though. We've still got plenty more clips to find. But until then, please remember to like if you enjoyed, leave a comment below, and if you wanted to subscribe, it would be very much appreciated. I've been Kallista. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.